Well, good morning, guys. Happy Sunday morning to you all. I know it's not you're not in the place that you would normally be on this Sunday morning. For those of you who would be joining us at the hills, not being there is well, it's kind of a gut punch, especially since we had to miss now 2 weeks in a row, and that's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of us. But I think it's important to do what we're doing, which is to kind of pause in place, to quarantine, so to speak, and to give this this coronavirus a chance to calm down and to die out into the realm of history. And hopefully, if our nation's and the world's efforts are successful, it'll seem like this was all no big deal. But if we didn't do this, and someone, specifically someone in our own congregation, maybe someone elderly who's already of ill health, got sick, ended up in the ICU, and even worse, heaven forbid, we would all be devastated and have a lot of guilt over that. So I think what we're doing is wise, it's prudent, and as I said yesterday, it shows an abundance of caution and concern for others. But that being said, I think there's another opportunity here, something I've discovered over the past couple of days where we've all kind of had to slow down. And that is basically it, slowing down, pausing. You know, I feel like the world is on pause right now. Isn't that the way it feels? The world is on pause. And there's almost nothing to do outside of your own home and family. Now, a lot of us still have to go back to work tomorrow. Some of us work in the medical field. That's not going to stop. I know that my company is putting in some protocols that will help limit our exposure to others, but I mean, it is what it is. We work in the fields that we work in, and we have to do what we have to do. But we can take extra precautions, and we can slow down, and we can be mindful of what we're doing and who we're interacting with and why we're interacting with them. So that all being in mind, I feel like this is a season in which it's almost like the way I sort of discipline my children. When my children are getting out of control, when things are getting chaotic, everyone seems to be at each other's throats within my house, of course. What Aaron and I do is we do what a lot of parents do. We give them time out. We tell them to slow down. We send them to their rooms. We have them take a moment, take a breather. And for young children, it doesn't take more than a few minutes to really come to terms with you know, how a change of attitude can fix the situation, and lowering the blood pressure, lowering their anxiety, their emotional stress. It all seems to help them focus on things that matter, like playing and having fun and loving their family. I feel like that's sort of the thing that's happening to us as a nation right now, perhaps even around the world. We're all being forced to take a time out and to focus on what matters most. Over the past couple of days, there's been a couple of scriptures that have been on my mind that speak to that. The one, I don't even really need to quote it, but I will just so I make sure I get it completely right, is Psalm 46, verse 10, in which the psalmist says, "Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted on the earth." Be still and know that I am God. It's hard to know God fully amidst the chaos of life, especially in our modern 21st century, techno-driven, constantly connected world where there is never seemingly a moment of silence. My phone's constantly going off. My computer's constantly pinging. There's always something going on. There's always some, especially these days, drama going on the internet or on TV, and it's hard to see the forest for the trees when we're living in that reality. Be still and know that I am God. I think there's a reason why God instructs us to just stop. Just stop. Take a time out. breathe, and know that He is God. He is God over this coronavirus plague. He is God over our self-quarantines. He is God over the chaos that's happening in our businesses, at our workplaces, wherever that may be. Be still and know that He is God. The other passage I've been reflecting on this past weekend, one that keeps coming to mind, is a passage out of the book of Isaiah. Isaiah chapter 26. In the context of this passage, there's a war raging on. Israel's in the midst of a massive war, and things are not looking good. It's chaotic. It's a mess. The world's falling apart as far as they're concerned. And in the midst of all that, Isaiah decries this. I'll actually read it again. I'll have to, grab my phone, make sure I get it just right. Isaiah says, "You," speaking of God, "you will keep in perfect peace all who trust in you, all whose thoughts are fixed on you." So combine that with be still and know that I am God. You want to know peace in the midst of this worrisome time? A time in which we're worried about our loved ones, worried about the to-do list, the things that we have to get done at work, the checkbook, church budgets, things like that. You want to have peace in the midst of all that? Be still and know that He is God. Keep your eyes fixed on Him. And if you do that, He will give you perfect peace. Paul describes this, a peace which surpasses all understanding. And I think that's the peace that we can find only when we fix our eyes on Him. That's not the message I had planned to preach today. In fact, it's not the message I planned on preaching last week either, but it's where we're at right now. And that's just the words that are on my mind right now, just kind of off the cuff. Try to take this time out and use it as a time to focus on the Lord of all, the Creator of all, the one who has all of this within the palm of His hands. And in His timing, will make it right. I don't know how this whole thing's going to pan out. Nobody does. Seems like every website you read says something different. Even the professionals are scrambling to confront this disease. But we worship the one who has it all in control. We worship the one who will make it right in the end, and who never fails us, who's always with us, he's not even a phone call away, he's a word away. Open up to Him. Use this time to spend time in His Word. Use this time to worship Him. Even though we can't worship at church, it doesn't mean you can't worship at home. Use this time to slow down, take a time out, pray, seek His face, and know He is God. Love you guys. Miss you all. We hope to have some plans made that will enable us to do something a little bit more structured next week. I can't promise, I just know that that's what we're working on. No idea what that'll look like, what that'll be. But in the midst of our self-separations and our quarantines and inability to meet, we're still a community. I still love you guys. I miss you guys. Can't wait to see you again. Be safe, be healthy, take care of those around you. Look for opportunities to serve those in need. A neighbor, maybe someone elderly, someone who is already of ill health. Check on them. Be the church. Be the church where you're at. Even if you can't be the church in the place that we normally are, you are the church where you are. So go and do likewise. God bless. See ya. Bye.